Good evening, everybody. That wasn't meant to be there. Not yet. Anyway, welcome along to a new season of a new thing. This is the opening rounds of the FRS Touring Car Championship. And we're going to have 3 races for you this evening. I am joined in the virtual commentary box by Dan, hopefully, if he's there. Dan, how are you doing? I hope he's there. He may be not there. He is in voice. He may just be away sorting something out. Or I can't hear him. I reckon it said I can't hear him. I wonder if I do that. Does that fix it?
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
There we go.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very good, thank you. For everyone who's currently watching, it is Greg's birthday today, so wish him a very happy birthday.
It is, yes. It is my 32nd birthday today. So hopefully we can have a good evening's entertainment, which would be nice, I suppose. But that's got nothing to do with it being my birthday. Hopefully, regardless of what day it is, we have a good evening's entertainment. The reason I couldn't hear you is because I was bought a new set of headphones for my birthday by my lovely girlfriend, and I've not set them up properly because I'm a moron.
Well, all part of the process. I learned something. Learn the new how to get used to a new set of equipment.
So this is I think you've been quite excited for this one, Dan, because you are something of a fan of touring cars, are you not?
Yeah. Other than Formula One, which is obviously one of my main interests, touring cars is definitely my other interest. I do like the touring cars quite a lot.
I hope that video was going to be on a loop, but it wasn't. I'm having all sorts of OBS issues. Anyway, do continue.
So yeah, obviously, anybody who does follow the touring cars, I tend to go down to Croft every year for the championship. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I think a full gridded cars going wheel to wheel for 20-30 minutes flat out with no fuel saving, no tire management, just flag to flag racing. It's right in my street.
Indeed, yeah. So I suppose I'll bring up the format now. This is what we've got for you in this Touring Car Championship. So each event, and this evening being one event, is going to have 3 races. Before those 3 races, we have a 10-minute qualifying session. And then that sets the grid for the first race, which is 20 minutes long. After that 20-minute race, we move to a quick break where Dan, my glamorous assistant for this evening, will be randomly drawing a number of cars, and those cars will be reversed position on the grid for race 2. So that can be a number between 6 and 12. So we get a slight reverse grid for race 2. Then race 3, we largely do the same thing. Points awarded to the top 15 finishers, 20 points for a win. And interestingly, something we've not really seen in anything else we've commentated on before, Dan, is success ballast. So I'll let you pick up the explanation of success ballast.
Wait there, I'm on mute. I'll try it again. Sorry, I'm currently eating my bacon and egg sandwich whilst before this gets underway. But yeah, so success ballast is basically, if anyone watches endurance racing, it's kind of like a balance of performance. So the top 10 finishers will have success ballast in sort of the order that they were finished in. So the race winner would get the most success ballast, all the way down to the 10th person who would get the least success ballast. But it's a way to try and help sort of level out the playing field between all the runners, so you just don't get a Lewis Hamilton sort of style one driver winning every race. It's supposed to help sort of level the playing field. So, and in the real life touring cars, it works very well. It does add a bit of strategic element to it as well, especially for any of the reverse races. Especially getting towards sort of like championship, towards the end of the championship. But yeah, it's a good system. It works very well.
So ballast, of course, being weight. If you do well, weight gets added to your car, and heavy car equals bad, as a general rule in motorsport. So that's why you will go slower, because you are heavier and whatnot. Right, we're getting close to start time, so we have a bumper field in this Touring Car Championship. 24 signed up already. And the lovely thing about Assetto Corsa, which this game is running on, other than being much better for producing broadcastable material than Formula 1 is the ability for all of the drivers to create their own livery. A livery being how the car is painted. And, well, they've outdone themselves, FRS here, because we have every car in the field has a custom livery. So what we need to do now, for those of you who are here as audience members, is go through and let you pick your favourite. So, we're going to run through them all. The drivers are split into teams. So some have teamed up, some have gone for individual teams. The biggest team is this one, Sebier Team KRO, with Biorad, a proper touring car team name, that one. Connor McDermott, Joe Manning, David Choros, and Lewis Williams making up this team. And they'll have their eyes firmly set on the team's championship prize. If you see a lemon, by the way, that means that we are looking at a driver who can take part in the John Lemon Trophy, which I'll come on to in a moment. Chad Bradley in the Chess.com Racing with Guinness entry. The nicely coloured black and white car there. Only Clowns Racing makes an appearance in the Touring Car Championship. This is Elliot Hick's team, and it's a one-car team, much like the last one. Chess.com Racing with Guinness entry. Chad Bradley. This will be a popular livery, the Beamaroo WRT. This one styled on the old Subaru Impreza rally car for Dirk and Femi Dennis. Another one-car entry. Team Spin, or another privateer single-car team. This is Brad Spitt, and has gone for the simple but very effective black and gold look there. One of the favourites, I think, Deadly Racing, Prune Tracy, certainly has gone very well in the GT rating on Assetto Corsa, so expect him to be quite quick here in that very fetching sort of Simpsons-style livery. Neon Falcon Racing is one of the anime-heavy entries, shall we say. This is Hakima's car, with the white and then the sort of rainbow crossband on it, and then lots of anime characters who stuck into. I have no idea who any of them are. Team Eurotech are another one of the big teams. There's 3 drivers in this one. Tom Lightbody in the Big Pete EcoTune Team Eurotech entry, the big yellow and black car. Oscar Sumner, this was only part of the livery because it wasn't quite finished when I got around to it. And Jasper Hofstee in the Gamma Groningen Team Eurotech. So the cars all look different, but they are still the same team. Now, for all your gun-toting Americans, Team The America are here with well, a very fetching American-themed livery here with cheeseburgers, bald eagles holding pistols, and all sorts over it. This is Jerome Buffonius, otherwise known as Boo. MILBANK Team KRO are another 3-car team, affiliated like a satellite team of the Crusoe Racing organisation, featuring a couple of John Lemon Trophy drivers, Matt Parker, Barack Kuma, the Italian, and Ty Crabtree will be the third of those as well. 3 similar livery cars, this. For the sort of grey with the green and blue stripe down the front. Cult of Pleasure is one that will please any of the Blood Bowl Warhammer fans in the audience, because Kevin Nordermere has brought a Slanesh themed vehicle to this thing is bright pink and purple and covered in tentacles. Team GoPro is Hamilton Akabwezi, the American. This one a very fetching light blue and dark blue combined livery. Hopefully that car can go well, and we'll get lots of onboard footage with it being a GoPro. Realm Racing is Major Castleman. This has got a pair of chickens on the side, Los Polos Hermanos. Apologies to any Spanish-speaking members of the audience this evening. But that one, another fetching blue and gold entry. TESCO Team KRO with MJ Povey. This one, the full meme. TESCO value combined with rich energy to do something of a cursed livery on this one. And last but not least, Ice One Racing, the dual finished themed livery for Juha Kallas and Timu Karppinen, who are teaming up for Finland here in the Touring Car Championship. So, Dan, any of those catching your eye particularly?
Yeah, there's a good there's a sort of a mixture, let's say, between some very professional looking liveries and, like I say, some meme liveries. But I mean, they're all as good as each other, I say. I mean, I do quite like that the last team with the Finnish flag on it. It looks very clean. The Big Pete light body was the Eurotech.
Yeah,
it's a nice standout car, but
it gives me a V8 Supercars vibe. That one.
Yes, it does, very much so. But yeah, I think they've all got their own qualities, and they're all right. You know, like I said, whether they are a bit more serious or whether they're a bit more of a meme. But yeah, I quite liked a lot of them. So.
Well, it remains to be seen who's fast. I'm looking at the cars are just in practice. We're due to go to qualifying sort of in the next couple of minutes, I would say. And then we'll be all set to head over and catch up with the 10-minute qualifying session. We'll be straight into the action as well. The times are... There's a few cars quite close together here. So I think where we maybe saw in some of the GT Series races that we commentated on sort of the back end of last year, there was a couple of drivers who were sort of well ahead of the rest of the field in terms of pace. This is looking a lot closer, and when that ballast comes into play, we are going to hopefully see lots of close racing. All of the cars are BMWs, they're all the same, so it will be nice and closed. Okay, let's get over to it then. Here's the intro sequence before we get into the qualifying session. Well, apologies to any headphone users. That might have been louder than I anticipated it being. But yeah, I think we're all in and we're all good to go and we're all set up and everything's ready. There's an app that I can use to make things happen here. We should have car sounds now because I pressed the button that I needed to get car sounds. So I'm just making sure I've got everything set up and good to go. And then we can get on with this, Dan. So 10 minutes of qualifying. We're looking at around, the fastest time I saw from practice there was around a 37.2. So we're looking at a low 37 for pole position here.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just struggling to get into the server because I've forgotten what the password was.
Okay, let me PM that to you.
So I'm just, didn't want to interrupt you when you were busy talking about all the deliveries.
Mid-flow.
Yes.
So here's this very fetching, all-American entry from Booth, which is, I mean, it's been causing all sorts of problems, this livery, because it's not been working for people. But we finally got it working just before the session started. I alluded, by the way, to the John Lemon Trophy. Those drivers who have got a red a red square next to their name are those who are trophy drivers. Now, everyone contests the same championship, but the trophy is like a subcategory of that. It's not like they're two different classes. They're all in the same car, but they're considered like rookies in a sense. Who isn't a trophy driver, we're expecting to change as the season goes on. But for now, that's who's who, basically, on that front. So here's Teemu Karppinen in the Ice 1 Racing. It's one of the liveries we're a big fan of. I think this was a Crusoe-produced livery, this one. And he's got a knack for it. He's got an eye for this sort of thing. That's a smart-looking car.
Yeah, it certainly is. Like I said, it's quite clean. There's not many, not too busy. It's got like one, big sponsor in the Nokia brand. But yeah, looking to fetching this. Got my old race number in it as well, so 88. So even more of a reason for me to follow Teemu Karppinen here.
So I'm not sure he's either the first car on a lap or the last car on a lap. I think he's the last car, so it'll be car number 321, Oscar Sumner, who's going to be the first to come around and set what we expect to be a representative time here. And this is one of the Team Eurotech entries. A 138.4 is the opening gambit. Just behind that is Deniz, and Harkima's fastest already in the Neon Falcon entry there. I think there's a couple of liveries that aren't quite working for me here. I think that's Deniz's car, which is not quite showing up in the way that it should. So we'll need to do some investigation of what's going on there. That's a real shame. But there's the big peak car of Tom Lightbody just behind us, who is in second place at the moment. MJ Povey just coming out the final corner now and down towards the start-finish line. So, I mean, I was going to say it's early stages of the session, but we're already pretty much halfway through. Got to get out there, got to get a time on the board, Dan.
Yeah. 10-minute qualifying on a lap that's sort of 100 seconds long. It's you could be in fast lap or out fast lap, in lap, unless you're just going to run for the full 10 minutes. So you won't get the freshness of the tyres after the first line lap. But yeah, so there's not really much in the way of making mistakes here, because otherwise you'll find yourself sort of out of sequence with drivers around you. You're maybe on a slow down lap or a in lap, and yeah, so it'll be over before you know it. Really, like I said, we're already halfway through this.
There's a few liveries here that definitely aren't working in the way that they should. So I'm going to try and make a note of which they are and try and find out why that is. We might not be able to fix it this evening, just because of time constraints, but hopefully we'll be able to fix it by the next round at the very least. I've noticed Deniz, who's gone second quickest, by the way. Look at the time difference between the top three. Less than half a tenth of a second. MJ Povey's about a second quicker on this time, but I think that's only going to be good enough for sort of the top 5, top 6 at the moment. So what you'll see, the cars will be fueled up, and drivers are just going to go round and round and round, trying to set... because you don't really have time. It's not like F1 qualifying where you do a lap and then come back into the pit lane and then go again. This is all just about being on the circuit, getting laps in, and trying to get yourself as far up that leaderboard as you can. Top 4 at the moment: Harkima, Deniz, Lightbody, and now Manning. Joe Manning going into 4th place in the Sebia Team KRO with Biorad entry, one of the 4 cars under that particular stable. So there's a few cars on track who seem to be improving. Brad Spitt is going quicker. David Soros, the Hungarian driver, seems to be going a little quicker on this lap as well. He's already about 4 tenths up on his previous best. Down in P15 at the moment, but obviously if you can keep up that rate of improvement. Lightbody is going quicker. Could be worth checking in with him, but so is Harkima. Those 2 cars coming to the line now. You can see the traffic ahead of us, and Harkima improves to a 37.1. Tom Lightbody goes second, a 10th shy.
Yeah, so we got time to tumbling as the drivers are finding their way around, the track here. Just having a look at what else is going on track. We've got Manning, Joe Manning, who's a few tenths up on his current best, but probably will keep him fourth at the moment unless he has a very good last sector. He just went through Dingledale at the moment. But yeah, there's a lot of drivers on improved, quite fast improvements on the last lap time. So I expect these times to start tumbling and the midfield start jumbling around because yeah, there's lots of drivers improving by sort of 3 or 4 tenths. Looking on this time tower.
A mistake there from Manning in the last corner has cost him because he was on to improve by more than he has there. He only found maybe half a tenth in the end. Manning, otherwise known as Archduke Oregano, who races in the F1 League in the PlayStation divisions. But yeah, he had about 3 or 4 tenths in his pocket there before that mistake towards the end. That's Elliot Hicks off the circuit, just keeping out of the way in the Only Clowns racing car. Who else is going quicker at the sharp end? Connor McDermott, Manning's teammate, seems to be improving on this lap as the camera struggles to pick him up. Just coming through Dingledale and a couple of corners to go. We'll see how the Scottish driver can do. I think there's a few drivers now just maybe trying to find some space and line themselves up for one more shot at this.
Yeah, with a minute and 15 left, it's getting down to crunch time now. So yeah, they'll be trying to find a bit of space, which you all look like they do on the track map. There's only a couple of drivers coming through Druids who are quite close to each other, but yeah, they should all have enough space to get one more flying lap in. So like I said, we're looking for these to be the fastest laps of the session for them.
McDermott went P5, and McDermott's retired to the pit lane now, so he won't go any quicker. This is Akdeniz, the Turkish driver. This car should look like a Subaru, but disappointingly it doesn't. We will try to get that fixed as soon as we can, but he's a couple of tenths up on this lap. Needs to find another couple of tenths to be able to challenge right at the front. Tom Lightbody has gone quicker again, but is not quick enough. It's still Harkema on provisional pole. Well, if you can see the same timing screen as me, Dan, most of the improvement seems to be coming from those at the lower end of the timing screens. I'm seeing Joe Manning is about half a second up, actually, through 2 or 3 corners on this lap. So Manning seems to be on an absolute flyer here. We'll stick with the end of this Akdeniz lap as he comes towards the line. Seems to have lost a bit of that time that he'd gained, so maybe he won't improve on this one. But we've got Sumner and Manning are the 2 drivers to watch on this last run through. Akdeniz does not improve. We'll check in with the Sebia team KRO driver.
Yeah, so yeah, Manning's just went. He was, like you said, on a very good lap early on through Druids and Graham Hill Bend, but got a little wiggle out of Surtees and lost a bit of time, and he then went wide at Hawthorne Bend. He's lost all that advantage that he had early in the lap, so probably just pushed in a little bit too much. Doesn't look like he's going to be improving too much on this lap. The drive at the moment on the biggest improvement I can see is Oscar Summer in the Team Eurotech car. 3-2-1.
Sixth, and then Chad Bradley would be the other car to look at in the Chess.com Racing with Guinness entry, currently in P18. He's not going to set a time here that's going to truly light up the standings, but could improve a couple of spots here and maybe jump even ahead a couple of the non-John Lemon Trophy drivers in Kuma and Carpen, just ahead. Bradley across the line and improves by about half a second, moves up to P13, but it's Harkema who is on pole here in Brands Hatch for race 1. Takes the inaugural pole position of FRS Touring Cars from Tom Lightbody in second place and Gurkan Akdeniz in third.